I guess those bikini pics and half-naked videos that Angel Reese puts on social media, I guess that's not translating on television into ratings. Strange.
Angel Reese made her debut in the Unrivaled Basketball League. Expectations were sky high. Hailed as one of the league's future stars, she entered with a lot of fanfare and media hype. But her performance on the court didn't quite match up to the talk. Instead of dominating, Reese's debut was marked by poor decisions, missed opportunities, and ultimately, a tough loss for her team. Reese's arrival in the Unrivaled League had people excited, not only because of her college success, but also due to the promise she showed. Her social media presence painted a picture of a confident, ready-to-take-over star.
Angel Reese is legitimately bad at basketball, like god-awful. One of the worst coordinated players I've ever seen. Just throws shit up and prays.
But as it turned out, those glossy images didn't translate to the court. She faced a steep learning curve, and the adjustments were painfully obvious in her first outing. From the get-go, it became clear that Reese was struggling to adapt to the faster, more demanding pace of professional basketball. Instead of smoothly fitting into the high-speed, high-energy environment that the league thrives on, Reese's game seemed stuck in a slower gear. Her decision-making was erratic, and she found herself out of sync with both the game and her teammates. Head coach Nola, who had high hopes for Reese, was forced to bench her in the fourth quarter of a crucial game. This wasn't a minor decision. It sent a clear message about Reese's performance and preparedness. When it came down to crunch time, Reese's benching spoke volumes. She finished the game with 10 points, 14 rebounds, and 4 assists. On paper, those stats don't look bad, but context is important. Reese's performance in those areas wasn't enough to make a meaningful impact in the game. Her turnovers and inability to execute key plays when it mattered most.
When she got benched, the comeback was on. What does that tell you?
Contributed to her team's downfall. Coach Henry's decision to bench Reese wasn't a punishment. It was a reflection of the game's realities. The fast-paced system she was running demanded more than what Reese was able to offer. While some criticized Henry's decision-making, it's hard to blame her. Reese's performance didn't match the expectations, and with the game slipping away, Henry had to make a tough call. On the other side of the court, Rhyne Howard, captain of Vinyl BC, was having a night to remember. Howard scored 33 points, effortlessly knocking down 6 three-pointers and playing an all-around stellar game. In contrast, Reese's game felt out of place. Her missed layups and sloppy defense were stark contrast to Howard's composure and skill. Howard wasn't just outperforming Reese. She was putting on a master class in what it takes to succeed at the professional level. Reese's struggles weren't just limited to offense. Her defense was lackluster at best.
Top of a league is an unrivaled success, when the reality is, it's an unrivaled, huge embarrassing failure.
Whether it was poor positioning or simply being outmatched by Howard, Reese couldn't keep up. That missed block attempt, which led to an embarrassing foul, was symbolic of the disconnect between her expectations and reality. Instead of stepping up to the challenge, Reese seemed to struggle with the basics of defense, an area that is crucial in a fast-paced league. It's important to recognize that Angel Reese isn't a bad player, but her first game in the Unrivaled Basketball League exposed just how far she still has to go. She wasn't ready for the level of play demanded by the league, and the gap between her and true superstars like Howard was impossible to ignore. Reese's college success didn't guarantee her instant dominance in the professional game, and this was a tough reality check for someone who came in with so much hype. After the game, Reese took to social media to express her emotions.
Angel Reese was 3 of 7 from the field. Once again, cannot get to that 50% mark. 5 turnovers, 14 rebounds, 10 points, and a big...
Reflecting on her connection to her former coach, Teresa Weatherspoon, who had supported her during tough times. While this heartfelt message may have resonated with some, it didn't change the fact that Reese had failed to deliver when it mattered most. Professional basketball doesn't care about emotional tributes, it demands performance. Reese's debut might have been humbling, but it's not the end of her career. However, she'll need to make some serious adjustments to her game if she wants to keep pace with the competition. The league is full of players who are hungry, talented, and ready to prove themselves.
Hell, that is. By the way, in case you're wondering, yes, Angel Reese is getting absolutely roasted. Her fans, though, her fans are out in droves, seriously.
Reese's inefficiency was evident from the start, shooting just 42% from the field. She missed crucial layups, struggled to keep up with the game's pace, and committed turnovers that derailed Rose BC's momentum. Her defensive performance, or lack thereof, was another glaring issue. Players like Rhyne Howard from Vinyl BC took full advantage, delivering a 33-point performance that included 6 three-pointers, showcasing the stark difference in composure and skill between the two stars. One of the defining moments of Reese's debut was her benching during the fourth quarter. Rose BC's head coach, Nola made the bold decision to pull Reese out of the game during its most critical moments. While some criticized Henry's rotations, others viewed the move as a clear message to Reese. Her performance wasn't meeting the league's high standards. Coach Henry's decision was a calculated one. Her system prioritizes quick decision-making, adaptability, and defensive intensity traits Reese has yet to fully develop. The benching wasn't just a reaction to Reese's poor performance, but also an effort to salvage the game. While Rose BC ultimately lost 79-73, the decision underscored the growing pains Reese must endure as she transitions to professional basketball. The Unrivaled Basketball League is not college basketball. The competition is fiercer, the pace faster, and the margin for error razor thin. Reese, who thrived on her physicality and presence in college, found herself outmatched in a league that demands a more refined skill set. Her struggles were particularly glaring when compared to Rhyne Howard's dominance. Howard, a seasoned professional, demonstrated the poise and versatility required to excel at this level. She didn't just outperform Reese.
Celebrating this very mid that she actually made last night. They're trying to claim that this proved she's been in the gym. And congratulations, she hit a jump.
She exposed the gaps in Reese's game. From missed rotations to poorly executed plays, Reese's shortcomings were on full display. Leaving little room for excuses, Angel Reese's brand has always extended beyond the basketball court. Her presence on social media, from glamorous photo shoots to outspoken commentary, has made her a polarizing figure. While her charisma has garnered her a loyal fan base, it has also drawn criticism, particularly when her on-court performances fail to match the off-court hype. Following the game, Reese took to social media to express her love and gratitude for Teresa Weatherspoon, her former coach, calling her the only person who truly believed in her. While the sentiment was heartfelt, it did little to deflect attention from the night's events. The irony was hard to ignore. Weatherspoon, now coaching Vinyl BC, had just orchestrated a game plan that neutralized Reese's impact. This dichotomy between Reese's public persona and her basketball performance has become a focal point of discussion.
I thought Angel Reese was a mainstream celebrity. I mean, that's what the media keeps telling me, so how come Angel Reese consistently fails to draw rating?
Can she bridge the gap between being a marketable figure and a reliable player on the court? It's a question that looms large as she navigates her professional career. Reese's struggles are not entirely surprising. Transitioning from college basketball to the professional level is a challenge for even the most talented players. The expectations placed on Reese, however, have been particularly heavy. Dubbed the future of women's basketball, she entered the Unrivaled Basketball League with a target on her back. These expectations are both a blessing and a curse. On one hand, they reflect the belief in her potential. On the other, they amplify every misstep. Reese's debut was a stark reminder that potential alone is not enough. To thrive in this league, she must adapt, evolve, and rise to the occasion. Despite the criticism, it's important to view Reese's debut as a learning opportunity. One game does not define a career, and Reese has the tools to succeed. Her physicality, rebounding ability, and tenacity are assets that can be harnessed and refined. To move forward, Reese must address the weaknesses in her game. Improving her decision-making, developing a more versatile offensive skill set, and committing to defensive improvement will be key. Equally important is her ability to handle criticism and use it as fuel for growth. For Angel Reese, the road ahead is both daunting and promising. The Unrivaled Basketball League offers her the platform to showcase her talents and solidify her legacy.
Reese is not the mainstream draw that she thinks she is.
However, it also demands accountability, resilience, and a relentless work ethic. Reese's debut may have been a disappointment, but it's far from the end of her story. With the right mindset and approach, she has the potential to bounce back and prove her critics wrong. The question is not whether she has the ability, but whether she has the determination to make the necessary changes.